If your hip hop beats are muddy, this video is for you. So what I'm going to show you today is counterintuitive stuff to get your track to sound a little more clear. So firstly, we're going to listen to the track. Okay, now you could release the track as is, but if you wanted to make it a little bit more clear, we're going to open up an EQ. Now, the most counterintuitive thing we need to do is actually cut away the bass. Most people want to add the bass or cut away from something else that's not the actual bass. But sometimes the bass is the thing that's eating up too much space. So let's find the low end or the fundamental frequency of the bass. This is a cool frequency, but we don't need this thing super loud. So let's pull this down about 2 dB. Let's do it before and after. Here's before. The problem is not the frequency, it's just that the frequency lasts too long. So it's like, it's just holding too long. So what we could do is take away some of that volume so that the way our ear is built is basically we don't hear bass as easily as we do the higher mids. So when you lower the volume of the bass, we can still hear this frequency, but once it passes a certain volume, our ear won't pick it up. So it's like a natural high pass filter. So it makes the 808 feel a little shorter in the boomy part, like the instead of going all the way through, it goes. It's a little bit shorter. Here's without. It just goes. It's just a little more tameable, controllable. Nextly, we're going to look at the kick. Sometimes you guys' kicks are just, they're too heavy in a certain area. So when I say the top end of a kick, I don't mean the high frequencies of a kick. I'm talking about the punchier parts of the kick, not the boomy part, but the punchier part. Sometimes that needs to be tamed. So let's find it. Now you could do this on the kick itself so you're not affecting the whole track. Okay, my mouse slipped there. So this crunchy area that, I don't necessarily like it per se. Okay, let's do it before. I accidentally copied the settings over. Let's do it before and after. Here's before. Here's after. Okay, so you can even hear that hi-hat starts to stand out more. So we're going to take that hi-hat. You could either drop the entire area, or you could use this as a dynamic EQ. Again, you would usually go to that instrument and just turn it down. So in this case, let's just do that instead of affecting everything else. Let's A-B this. Here's before. Here's after. So imagine like you're drifting with a car. This is like when you turn the corner, Need for Speed. Now before the EQ is like turning the corner with the in Need for Speed, and then your car just keeps drifting in the back, and you can't get it straight. It just keeps turning. The back of your car keeps turning on Need for Speed. Once you add the EQ, it's like tightening up your suspension and tightening up your traction. So when you make that turn, you will drift a little bit, but you'll still get back on track faster. And that's kind of what we're doing with this EQ. I know that's a little esoteric and a little abstract, but for those who play Need for Speed, know what I'm talking about. Okay, so you wouldn't think to cut your bass. Now, the next thing is to check the side information. So I'm going to do this all on one screen so you guys can see. We're going to switch this to the side view, and we're going to solo this, and we're going to listen to how much garbage information is on the sides. In short, the sides are different from mono. The sides are the difference between your left and your right ear. Mono is the same thing in your left and the right ear, okay, whereas stereo is the difference. So you have to ask, do you need this information in the song? This just sounds like garble. Even that 600 sounds like garble. And here you can't really make out the sound. So from about 150 to, I'll say, let's make this bigger. Let's cut this out and let's make this broad. Okay, so from about, what did I say, 150 to 600 hertz. Let's see where this ends up, about 600 over here. We're going to cut that on the side information. So this is only in the difference between your left and the right ear, which creates that perception of width. So when you take away these frequencies, it's also going to make your track feel more narrow in this area. I'll exaggerate so you could hear what we're doing. So this is the stuff, the garbage that we're taking out of the track. Like, it doesn't add anything to this track. Okay, so we're going to subtract it out. You can do a lot with an EQ. So let's, again, do before and after. Here's before. Here's after. Now, some people tell you to do a high pass filter. So what we're going to do is move this to about 30 hertz. This, you know, there's so many people just explaining this in different ways, but I'm not going to tell you to do it. Just use your ears and use your brain. I don't usually do high pass filters, but I'm just showing you guys who may have more bass in your tracks. Okay, so you can cut anywhere from pretty much 30 and below. There's no rule, there's no hard point. It's just wherever the bass starts to build up in excess. And this graph is starting to look a little convoluted here, but the curvature is right here. So again, let's A/B it. Here's before. Here's after. Much more clear. I have one more trick for you guys, which is a tilt. So we're doing all this with an EQ. That's why this FabFilter is so good. What we're going to do is find the area where the most fundamentals start to stack. So in this case, somewhere around 200 or 300. I kind of like this zone around 200. So what I'm going to do is now add a flat tilt and then turn this gain knob. So basically I'm sending more energy to the higher frequencies instead of the low frequencies. I'm going to exaggerate so you guys can hear what this does. So now it's more high frequency tilted. And I could do it the opposite way, make it more low frequency tilted. The problem with that is that it becomes more muffled the more low frequencies you add. Now, when I use a tilt, I like to counterbalance with like EQ resonance points. You don't need to know what that means, but I need to make the EQ stick out in certain areas. I don't have to, but it's just a technique that. So let's boost here at 70 hertz. I like 70 hertz. I like 60 to 75 hertz. Those are like the magical bass frequencies for my ear. So I'm going to boost this to where it stands out from the rest. I'm going to exaggerate so we can hear. I think 60 might work better because the kick and the 808 both have that in it. Let's do 60. I'm going to exaggerate so you can really hear that 60 hertz. It really hits when that doo-dum. Listen for this last note. Ready? That's when that's when it's going to vibrate. So let's pull this back about half or more. And then I like to give, now it's already tilted, but I like to give my high end a little more sheen. So let's do a high frequency, a high shelf, I meant to say. And let's make this. This usually opens up the track to where it makes it sound less contained when you pull it from about 10K and above. It just makes the track feel taller. So let's A/B all this. Here's after. So I'm trying not to go into too many advanced techniques, but let's say your bass isn't like standing out. You could use a saturator to pull up on that bass. So we're going to solo everything below a certain point. Let's say below that point that we had in here, which is about, where's our tilt point? 250 hertz. So everything below that, we're going to saturate so that we have upper harmonics for that area. That just adds a little more density. It's so subtle. Okay, so you can do a lot with the EQ, even without the saturation. Let's just A/B this one more time to show you how much clarity we had. Here's before. Here's after. Now, I still think we need to go back and revise some of those bass frequencies with other processing so that the bass stands out. But as far as making it more clear, you know, these are the steps I would take for this specific track. You can also use, we're getting into advanced stuff at this point, so do not memorize this. This is more for the kick transient. I'm adding a transient envelope, I should say, over the transients. Give them more harmonics. So now that bass comes alive. So let's just show you before and after the saturation. Here's before. Here's after. Okay, so let's play the whole chain before and after. That's before, here's after. So also, there's so much to teach you guys about clarity. And the next thing is imaging. Excuse me, my mic keeps going out. Imaging. So imaging is just spreading stuff out. In short, when stuff is panned to the left and the right, it's going to be louder. For the most part, I'm generalizing. Now, because we have stereo properties that we're EQing out, you might want to put the imager first so that stuff on the side will get, if it's in that zone of muddiness, it will get cut. So we still need to clip the sound. I'm trying not to fully master this track, you know, because we're getting into a lot of the but a lot of this is about So now that I've added these plugins, I need to go back and pull back some of the processing. Let me up the buffer. My thing keeps pausing and glitching. Hold up. Let's do it before. Everything just feels smooth and just kind of muddy. Here's after. Feels clear and punchy. And you can still compress and do a bunch of stuff on the sides. I just don't want to make this video super long. Like the video, subscribe if you're new. If you want to learn more about mixing, we have a course called Mixing Fundamentals. Go to busyworksbeats.com/premium to learn a lot more about the mixing fundamentals in our courses over in our premium side. Peace out, guys.